Your favorite quote. Let's start there.
My favorite quote is, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Walt Disney.
Walt Disney. I'm a big Disney girl. He's my biggest creative inspiration, I would say, of all time.
For sure.
If you're watching me on YouTube right now, he's literally the quote that's hanging behind me right now.
Yeah.
That quote is also my Instagram bio. If you can dream it, you can do it. It's just something that I've lived by. It's just a simple yet so profound quote. Mm-hmm. If you can dream it, you can do it.
If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't say you got to hone in on one thing and only do that the rest of your life. It says whatever you can dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we are testaments to that.
Very much so. Our backgrounds are wildly diverse within our careers.
Yeah, we teased it a little bit earlier on
in the first episode.
But we have both had very different paths to get where we are today.
Yeah.
Mine had a little bit more of a similar theme going on as it was entertainment, but they were very different parts of entertainment. Whereas you had a very interesting path starting as a firefighter, which is when we met, to all these little things in between, which we're going to get to. And now you're a successful businessman starting, like you have a very successful business and then you have a new venture that's coming up. So why don't we start on your end? You just have a lot more of an interesting story because you had some sort of invisible string that pulled it together.
Yeah. So right out of high school, for those of you that don't know me, I went to the fire academy and then immediately got a firefighter job down in South Texas and started working. And the thing about firefighting is you have a 48-96 schedule, right? So you work 2 days and you're off for 4. You know that. But the beautiful thing about this is the amount of time that you get to explore other ventures, to explore other things.
A lot of downtime.
A ton of downtime. You know, 4 days off is a lot of days off every week, basically.
Is that typical though? Like as a firefighter, do most of them have little side gigs or?
Oh yeah,
or
super typical. Almost everybody's got like some Christmas light hanging business or pressure washing or
just something to do because 2 days of work, well, it's a lot. It's just you want something to do.
Yeah, something else when you're at home. So, I did a lot of side quests while I was advancing throughout the firefighter chain of command. So, started off as a rookie, worked my way up all the way to a lieutenant. Was also an interim captain. That took only about 3 years to get to the lieutenant's position. And I was a firefighter for a total of 7 years. So, in that time, I did a lot of side ventures, one of them being the lawn care, another one being the pressure washing RVs. I washed people's RVs. Another one was like this little Thrive, I think is what it was called.
It was a pyramid scheme. That's what it was. That's what it was.
That was basically a pyramid scheme.
He sold supplements, and I told him from the get-go it was a pyramid scheme, but he was just a sucker for it. Tried it for what? Like not even a month.
I think it was like maybe 2 months, but... learned a little bit from it, how to sell products, I guess, but not too much. Lawn care, I learned a whole lot about door-to-door sales. I went all around town trying to do door-to-door. That was my first door-to-door sales thing. Just handing out business cards. I printed off some so super cheesy looking business cards.
What was it called? What was your business called?
OSHA Lawn Care. I mean, it wasn't anything fancy,
Nothing fancy,
but it had flames on it.
Whoa.
It was literally just an overlay.
Because I'm a firefighter.
Yeah. And what it was like, trust your yard like I trust my job, or something. It was so stupid.
What?
So, anyways,
it's funny.
From that to the pressure washing to the scheme, the pyramid scheme. After that, I did real estate. Went to real estate school, and I became a realtor. Sold houses for about a year, probably. Realized in that time that we paid a whole lot of money to contractors. And that's the time where you and I had a long discussion about maybe buying a house and flipping it. And I know, like, right when we started doing that, I was super excited. What were your thoughts? Like, when I was like, hey, we're going to flip a house. Like, what were your initial thoughts? I never really asked you that.
Well, I mean, every venture that you've had from job to job, I've always been just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
But this one actually surprisingly made the most sense because your dad has had a bunch of experience in construction and you've grown up around it. And every time that we're up with your parents, you're working on something.
Yeah.
And so
fixing something, building something.
oddly
whatever.
enough, that was like the least chaotic job choice that I felt like you
Okay.
make. I was like, okay, well, he's really good at this. Oh, can you hear the dogs in the back?
Yeah. Those are our
For
puppies.
those, yeah, we've got 3 dogs. So if
Yeah.
you ever hear them, they like to bark
And
at
we're-
people they see outside.
We're tired of editing it out.
Yeah, so just deal with it. Just kidding. We love them. But that was, the least chaotic move that you could have made. I was actually really excited because I got to help. I got to
Yeah, you did a
help
lot.
design the interior.
Did a lot of the colors and everything.
choose the colors and everything. And that was really fun. And you were able to bring it to life.
Yeah. So we flipped that house. Then we bought another one. We flipped that house. And that's the one we're currently living in. That was amazing. That taught me a whole lot just about everything. Like the biggest thing I learned from it, though, was like the self-fulfillment. Like I did that. You
I
know,
love
like,
my work.
I love it. And
I think the coolest part was when we sold that house that we flipped.
Yeah.
And you were able to see somebody's living in something that I
I
created.
still drive by it.
and
I'm
you're like, wow, someone's
look at
living
that.
there.
They put a fence in the yard.
I
Like,
know. It's actually really sweet. Like we did we did that for somebody.
Yeah.
We created somebody's home.
Yeah. It
That's
was really,
awesome.
really cool. So it just brought a lot of fulfillment. And I was like, I don't think the firefighter job is bringing me that much fulfillment anymore. You know, like I said, I got to the top, in my opinion. You know, I was a lieutenant and I would ride up as captain. And I didn't want to be a chief. You know, I didn't want to be like a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 firefighter. Like that just didn't sound fun to me. Chiefs are more admin side, whereas lieutenants and captains, they're still on scenes. So I was already at the top. And I was in the mindset at that point, right then and there, that I didn't want to stay and get comfortable, mainly because of you. If I hadn't met you, I'd probably still be a firefighter like the rest of my life.
Yeah,
and
you tell me that a lot.
Never have done anything different. Which I'm so thankful for, because right when I was like going through that, you left your job, went through some hard times, but then found a really nice job and you were way happier. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do that. You know, like I wonder if I can lose the firefighter job and go do something else. And right at that time, I think everything happens for a reason. I think, you know, God's played a huge role in our lives and everything. But specifically, right at that time, I'm going through all of those thoughts, and my friend reaches out to me and he's like, hey, why don't you come be a car salesman? And I was like, well, no. You know, like my immediate reaction is like, get lost, bro. Like I'm a firefighter. I'm not going to do that. And I thought about it for a couple of days. And then I brought it to your attention. I really didn't even bring it to your attention like the first time you mentioned it. But after I thought about it for like a day or two, I talked with you about it. And of course, once again, you know, you encouraged me to follow my heart, do whatever I desired. You definitely didn't seem excited that I was.
No, and I wasn't. But I was never going to stop you from failing at something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage you to try as many new things as you want, many new ventures as you want.
Right.
Unless it's something so stupid and dangerous.
You're like, stop.
No, that's literally
Yeah.
a waste of your time. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But there were skills that in the back of my head I knew you could develop from something like this, whether it was like resilience or whether it was something more, you know, specific, like sales. Like so now when we go to the dealership, you know what to look out for.
Yeah.
They can't make a sucker out of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I did learn that. And we've bought 2 vehicles since then, and it's been like, oh, I know how to play.
I know how to haggle. I know what
Yeah.
you're doing back there. So that's always nice.
So, you know, I did that for about 2-3 months, and I did good. I definitely did good. Like, I wasn't bad at it. I didn't stop doing it because I was bad at it. I stopped doing it because I didn't want to be sleazy. I didn't want to, like, I started using my skills
To take advantage of people.
And I didn't like that, you know, but that's how you made money. Like, that's the
Right.
only way you made money. And I don't care what people say. Like, there is no pure, genuine soul car salesman. I just genuinely don't believe that. Like, I really don't, because you're always out to squeeze every penny out of someone. And that's not just sales. That's not just any sales job, because I currently own a business and I don't do that. You know, if there's an old lady that needs something fixed, I'm going to give her some help. So anyways, I left the car sales, went to marketing. There's a guy in town that I knew, did some drone photography for. He reached out, joined his marketing firm, and I started selling marketing to businesses, and we started helping other businesses grow. And I helped a lot of businesses grow. I had over 50 clients at one point that we were helping their businesses grow exponentially, just huge. And so I did that for about a year. And I advanced a little bit within that company, but didn't ever really take the leap I wanted to. Talked with my boss about it. You're like, yeah, we're gonna promote you, blah blah blah. It didn't happen right when I wanted it to. Maybe it would have eventually, but it didn't happen when I said, hey, if I'm not promoted within a year, I'm gonna leave. And I wasn't within a year, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave. And I made that decision right after I made the decision to start the handyman company. I started the handyman company on the side of the marketing job. For about a month, I did them both. And I realized real quickly I could make way more money having my own business doing handyman as I could working for somebody else, honestly. That was the first time that set in my mind, like I have so many skills that I've learned from sales, that I've learned from marketing, that I've learned from my management skills as a leader in the fire department, like high stress situations. I've gathered all of those different skills, and I was like, why don't I make my own business the exact way I want to make it? And that's what I've done. I've built the handyman business. When I left the marketing job and did that full time, my boss, Alex, actually asked me, he was like, hey, Chance, let's go out to dinner. And long story short, we had dinner, and he had invested thousands into the company. Mm-hmm. And now he's my business partner, and we've grown this thing huge to where now we're creating another business called Bizwip. We're still doing the Smart Fix Handyman, which I don't know if you've realized up until this point, but like I've never done multiple things at once and stuck with all of them. I've always businesses. Quit something and move forward.
But this is actually really cool. This shows that you started with something, but you're finding something within that realm.
I'm finding something within it and branching it. So Bizwip is going to be teaching other home service professionals how to grow their business like I grew mine, like we grew mine, like Alex and I grew it. And so anyways, I've gone from so many different other little things
that had like nothing in common
to back where, yeah, exactly. The only thing that's in common was like right when I first started firefighting, I opened my lawn care business. I think that's the only thing that's very similar to handyman business. Nothing else, or I guess the house flipping, but that's not really like a career. That was more of just...
That was just more of a fun thing we did.
More of a fun thing, which is crazy to say. Like most people can just flip a house for fun. So that's cool. But yeah, now I feel like I'm a pretty successful businessman, and it's all because I didn't stick to one tiny little thing. I ventured out of that niche of firefighting. I left the fire department.
You're saying
there's
that there was no niche needed?
Exactly. So that's my story. Your story's cool too, though. I mean, the fact that you've done yours is at least a little bit more like within the same realm.
It's in the same realm, but just totally different things. Like mine is in the bubble of entertainment or media.
Yep.
And I've pretty much done everything under the sun of that. But normally people in entertainment, they stick to one thing that they're good at. You're either just a director, you're just an actor, you're just a singer, etc. And I know they villainized Taylor Swift for so long because, when she ventured from country to pop, people were like, no, stick to country.
Yeah.
Had she not gone out of that niche of country, we wouldn't have the Taylor Swift we had today.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually never really thought about that.
She's done almost every genre now of music, and people.
Yeah, we definitely would have got sick of it if she just stayed with country forever.
But I mean, there's no way. Sticking to one thing, I just don't see the benefit.
Yeah.
In any way. But starting from my end, I mean, I really started working like back in high school. Like my first job in the real world was being a theme park photographer, which I learned how to take pictures, and that was when I was 16-ish. After that, I was on, the news station at our high school, and I got introduced to the world of news, to the world of script writing and being on camera. I was also doing music on the side. I also opened for Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah,
It
you
was the
did that
national
too.
anthem, but still, it was an opener for her. She wasn't too big at the time. She had released "The Way" with Mac Miller, and that was a good song. Anyway, so
I
I
don't know
did
names of songs.
I did music, I did TV, and that was all before I'd even reached college yet. College, I decided I want to study film and broadcast production. So I did more of the behind the scenes stuff because I didn't want to do the journalism route, which is weird because even with all my experience in film and production stuff, I was still hired on as a news anchor.
Right.
But just to back up before, in college, I had gotten my first internship with the biggest radio station in Houston. It was KRBE, and the host at the time was Tyler Fry, and he did the evening show.
Yeah.
So I was an intern there, and I would drive
cool.
from my school in Huntsville all the way to Houston every day to do the night show with him. And it was cool because I learned how the radio industry works. I learned what goes into, booking interviews and, the scheduled time slots for things and making sure everything's running okay.
Were you a voice on the radio too?
I was a voice.
So you weren't just like a back end.
No, so I co-hosted with him.
Got you.
Like,
I
yeah.
honestly didn't know that.
Yeah, I co-hosted
That's so cool.
with Tyler Fry, and we did the what was it? The top. I forgot what the name was called, but we did like the top 10 songs or whatever.
Okay.
And we talked about pop culture and everything. So you just kind of learn how to talk to people and just
Yeah.
how the industry works. Towards the end of that internship, I received an inquiry from the Walt Disney Company. And it was for a news internship, a production assistant internship at the news station in Houston, which was KRTK, Channel 13.
I don't understand that though. So Walt Disney Company,
So they own
because they own ABC and everything.
ABC and all
But like
the...
you got something that looked like it was from Walt Disney Company.
Yeah, so when you apply for these things, it's like it's under the Walt Disney Company website.
I did not realize
yeah,
that.
so you apply through the Walt Disney Company
You don't
website.
apply through ABC or whatever. You
No.
apply through. Okay, cool. cool.
You could. You go to the website, you click on it, and then it takes you to the
It
Walt
takes
Disney
you to
page.
the, gotcha.
Right?
So it really is Walt Disney Company.
So I applied there, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And then I had gotten a call back saying like, hey, we'd like to interview you for the production assistant down here. And I was like, obviously.
Yeah.
So I was at the end of my internship, but what I haven't told everybody yet is that you were only allowed one internship to do in college for credit. And most of the time when you applied for an internship, it was part of the requirement that you need to get credit for it. So I went to the dean of the college and I was like, please, I have an opportunity to do 2 internships my junior year.
Yeah.
And I don't even care if you get rid of the credits that I just did for the radio station because that was a great experience, but I need to be able to do this for news. Like, I need to do this.
Hey, you wanted more experience.
I wanted more
Yeah.
because in the industry of entertainment, it's experience that you need. It doesn't matter how much schooling you have. This is all about experience. So they were so accommodating to me and they were like, okay, like do it. This is for your career. Do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam Houston State University. Eat 'em up, cats. But yeah, so I was able to do the internship there. And they told me that I was like a standout while I was there. So come to find my internship ends. I go back to school. I'm 6-7 months from graduating. And I get a call and they want me like as a part of the company. Like they want to hire me
Wow.
as a reporter for the company, an entertainment reporter, a community affairs reporter. So I would go and cover entertainment things happening in the Houston community. And I was the youngest hire that they had in the company.
That's so cool.
And I mean, it's just so cool to leave a mark like that, like to just be known for wanting to work so hard and loving working and loving what you do, that it sticks with them. So I learned how to work and navigate the TV industry, the news industry, live TV, learning what goes into everything.
Yeah.
So I got so many skills from each of those things. And that led me to getting my first anchor job in front of the TV on a morning show down here where I'd met you. And did 3 years of that. This is probably for a totally other podcast, but it was just the worst job in the world. Like the worst.
News anchor.
Yeah.
The schedule you hated the most.
It was the schedule that was the first thing that was awful. And then it was the work environment and just a whole other slew of things. But anyway, I got through those 3 years, barely. And I was unemployed for a couple weeks, but I was freaking out because I was like, what do I do next? Like, I don't want to go into news. I hated news. I would love to go into radio, but that would mean uprooting my life again and taking everybody with me, and you're working on this, this, and this. Yeah. There was just a lot to go through, and I was like, I got to find something in the meantime while I'm looking for the bigger opportunities.
Right.
So I was applying to some local places, as close to entertainment as I could. And I got a call from the local hospital looking for a marketing coordinator. And I was like, sure, why not? Looks like it pays well. I'm going to go in and talk to the person in charge and see what the role would entail.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
Because also, like, right when you got that job for marketing, I had also just started my marketing job.
Yeah.
Which was super weird.
Right. Anyway, I go into the interview, and my former boss there, she's just like, oh, we need somebody to create content for us. We need somebody to work on our website. We need somebody to take pictures for us, make videos, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, this is right up my alley. Yeah. This is the perfect thing to do while I'm waiting for something great. Like, while I keep submitting applications to bigger things that I want to do.
Yeah, because of everything that you'd learned in the past from all your other jobs. It was kind of like a lot of it had gone up to that point already too. So
right.
it's like you're already kind of working your way up a little bit.
Right. And so that job I did for almost a year exactly.
Yeah, almost.
But I came across my current job while I was in the hospital marketing coordinator role. And that was a vendor called Cyrano Video, which is a remote production company that our hospital worked closely with. They really helped us create content very easy. Like, we were able to get our CEO on camera to give internal updates. They were able to create promotional content for us with videos. I would have weekly meetings with my account manager on that end. And one day he sent two of his colleagues down who were based in the Houston area. This is a fully remote company, by the way, but there are two people that are friends that work in the Houston area. So he sent them down to help us do a big recording session with all the providers and stuff for Nurses Week. I forgot what the specifics were, but both of them came down and I met them and they were great. They were my age or close to my age.
I remember you were so excited.
I
You're
was
like,
so
these
happy.
people were so nice. I love them so much.
I was so happy that day. Just the vibe was right, you know?
Yeah.
So they come and they're helping, and I'm trying to make conversation in the meantime, trying to figure some things to talk about. And I asked them, I'm like, so what's your job? Like, you're down here, but what is it exactly that you do? And they went in depth. And as they're talking, I'm like, oh my God, this seems like a dream job.
Yeah.
This is a fully remote role. You're working with people in the same age range as you. You're working solely with video and, you know, technology, and you're writing scripts and you're helping people create content from the comfort of your home.
Right.
Like, that's amazing. And it pays amazing. So I made a joke and I was like, oh, are you guys hiring? I didn't think anything of it. And then they were like, yeah, I think we are. And I said, oh. I was like, okay. So I'm interested. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to talk to our boss. We like you. And
didn't they say, like, right around that point, they're like, you should just shoot your resume over just for shits and giggles too, I think?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So I did. And then I think the following week or a couple weeks after, when I had my weekly meeting with him, with their boss, who is now my boss, he was like, oh, hey. He's like, are you alone? And I was at work at the hospital. So I went and I closed my office door and I was like, yeah, I'm alone. He goes, well, we're really interested. Yeah. And
you, in your position.
In me. We're interested to hire me and bring me onto the team.
Yeah.
So I was poached. Yeah. Essentially, but it was for the best.
They say it wasn't poached.
They say it wasn't poached.
It wasn't poaching. Because they didn't, like, seek you out.
No,
I mean, you were
and
the one
everybody
that
was happy for me. My boss, and that's how you know if you have a good boss. If your boss is happier that you're moving up and doing things that you want to do, then that's just the biggest green flag. Which
is so cool. It's so great that both of our most recent, like, ex-bosses are happy for what we're doing now, which is crazy. Like, yours still talks to you every day.
I know.
Not every day, but she talks to you quite a bit.
We're actually planning on having lunch next week.
Yeah. And mine's my business partner. Right? So it's like, if you're doing things right and moving forward, like, you should have people on your side helping you go forward.
So this whole episode just kind of goes to show that you can do so many different things and life can take you on so many different paths, but you're going to end up being where you need to be.
Yeah.
Eventually. Like,
and we're not at all like super successful and rich and anything like that, but
we're
like,
making our way.
We know that we're good. Like, especially from where we were, you know, like I was a firefighter making X amount of dollars and that's it. Like
our life was totally different 3 years ago.
Yeah, you were a news anchor making money, and to see where we are now.
And there were so many times in between all of these career jumps where just we felt like failures, and it's okay. Like, we're making it sound like everything's just so peachy keen, like we had no ups and downs, but there were almost more downs than there were ups during the journey.
It's hard, honestly, and I think it's good. I mean, because you hear everybody talk about like all the good, you know, like the people that are successful. Like, they don't talk a lot about the bad stuff. But it's honestly because like at where you're at right now, like where I'm at right now, I don't feel depressed. Right. I don't feel sad. There's nothing upsetting me 99% of the time.
But there was a point where you were curled up in bed and you were depressed and you were like, I don't feel like getting out of bed. My
first month starting the handyman business full time there was weekends where I was literally curled up in bed crying. Like, no one's called. Why has nobody called? Like, I handed out 100 door hangers and nobody called.
You have to make a name for yourself.
Working for yourself is, I would say, the hardest thing in the world, because you have to
have the discipline to do it. Otherwise, you make no money.
Yeah, because if I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like working, well, then no money's made.
You're not making money.
Like, it's not like you can just slack off at work. You just don't make money.
Right.
Like,
if you could give a piece of advice to somebody listening right now on just their journey, like becoming successful, or any tips for success, what would those be?
The biggest thing is honestly the one thing that you had taught me, and now I've seen with my own eyes over and over, is to seriously just be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like, so many people, and I'll elaborate a little bit. So many people, like the firefighting job, they would just be a firefighter for the rest of their lives, live in one home, and just make do for the rest of their life. And
if that's your cup of tea,
right. But if you want to be successful and grow beyond that, you have to make a decision to change your life, change everything about it, and do something different. You know, if you're not successful in what you're doing now, do something else. I mean, it's pretty simple. You don't have to be the top guy in your company to be successful. You can do something else. I don't care what degree you have or what experience you have or whatever. Firefighter to car salesman. Like, there's no worse thing that I could have done, and I'm thankful for it every day. And like, for you, I don't, like, what's your tip? You know, like, what's your biggest advice you could give?
I love to give advice, because for so long when I've asked for advice from people who are successful, they gave me so much crap, like, just believe in yourself. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just if you stick to it, you'll be great. What? No, I need steps. I need tips on things to do.
Yeah.
So for the people maybe still in school watching this, get the internship. Yeah. Look up internships. Get them. Get as many as you can. If you got to go to the dean of your school and plead for more credits for that, do it, because the experience is invaluable. It is just, you can't do anything better than that. For the people not in school, connections are everything nowadays. Networking. If you don't have a LinkedIn page, create one.
Yeah.
Follow people who work for the companies that might interest you. Connect with them. Send them a message. Pick their brain. Let them know, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I'm very interested in the position that you have in your company. Can I get any advice, or can I pick your brain on things that could maybe help me land a similar role?
Right.
And there are going to be people who are so flattered that you're asking them that they're going to say, yeah, sure, I'd love to hop on a call, or I'd love to do this, this, and this. And those are the people who really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And do not be easily discouraged. I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But don't give yourself so much hatred and disappointment.
Yeah.
Just, it takes time. If you can dream it, you can do it.
That's it.
That's what I'm going to leave you with.